know as well as I do.
Okay.
Better than I can. They grow up fast.
We're happy to be back here at the Palm Steakhouse. As you see, Fred Sternberg had all the beef VADA tested out there, so there will be no issues for this steak lunch at the Palm. We're happy to be back here. This is actually a media lunch for Ring Magazine to recognize Triple G as their best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Doug Fisher, the editor-in-chief of Ring Magazine, is here. He's going to make the official presentation of the belt. It's a very high honor. All the accomplishments that Triple G has made in the ring, all the belts that he's accumulated, this is a very high honor. It's a very high honor, being recognized as the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the sport of boxing. So it just happened that we also signed the deal last week with Canelo Alvarez for the rematch, September 15th. It was so new that we don't even have a backdrop. So this is really for the specific purpose of the presentation of the Ring Magazine belt. And naturally then we'll take questions and talk about the biggest fight in boxing between Triple G and Canelo Alvarez. So Doug, if you want to make the official presentation. We've been waiting a long time actually for that belt to come in, and I know Gennady was looking forward to adding that to his collection.
It's an impressive collection. Should I speak in one of the microphones?
Yeah, you can take the handheld. You don't have to.
Yeah, I mean, you know, listen, I'm not going to take too much time here. I just want to give a little bit of history about the Ring Magazine's pound-for-pound belt. We haven't had one, we haven't awarded one in several decades. It was first awarded to Pernell Whitaker in 1993. Ironically, after Whitaker faced a Mexican star, and the outcome of that bout was a very controversial draw. But the editors of Ring Magazine and most of the public knew who really won that fight. And so the editors of the Ring Magazine decided to, just off the draw, elevate Pernell Whitaker, who was #2 pound-for-pound at the time. The great Julio Cesar Chavez was #1 pound-for-pound at the time. You were probably there. You were probably working some corners there. Hey, look at it. Yeah, but yeah, you were part of the, you were training some of the top pound-for-pound rated fighters at the time. A lot of interest in that showdown. And going into the fight, people said this is going to prove who's pound-for-pound #1. And despite the controversial draw, most people thought that Whitaker won. And so he was elevated to #1 pound-for-pound. And he was awarded the first Ring Magazine pound-for-pound championship belt. And he was even on the cover showing off the belt. So Gennady, your last fight was a draw. But most people know who won that fight. And even beyond weight classes, because that was looked at, and I think it was called supremacy, for middleweight supremacy. But I think beyond weight classes, you, Gennady, are the epitome of a champion. You conduct yourself as a champion. You live the life of a champion. You train like a champion. You want to fight the best, and you want to challenge yourself. And that's what real world champions do. So you have a very impressive title belt collection, but with or without the belts, the people recognize you as the best, as a champion. And that's really what pound for pound is. It's being the best regardless of weight class. But even when we talk about your weight class, you're doing some very special things. You're the longest reigning champion in boxing. I think you're the closest thing to Marvelous Marvin Hagler, where he just stuck his claim to be the king of the middleweight division and took on all comers. And even when he lost, controversial, people still recognize Marvin Hagler as the champ, even when he lost to my boyhood idol, Sugar Ray Leonard. But when I first met you, and I've written about this, it was in I think the spring or summer of 2011. And at the time, you were the WBA's interim champion. Am I right about that?
Yes.
He was preparing, and you sparred with Canelo Alvarez, he was preparing for a fight with Kasim Uma. Is that right?
Yes.
And that fight was the first time he was elevated from the interim champion to the WBA full status champion. And he hasn't lost since. And he's had a lot of fights. And he's approaching the all-time middleweight division record held by Bernard Hopkins.
He's tied.
Yeah.
He's tied. He's
So-
tied. He's tied.
So, now there's some people who dispute this, right? Because they say, well, he had the interim belt, and then it was just a regular WBA belt, and, well, the WBA didn't recognize or didn't sanction the Kell Brook fight. And I say, regardless, if you're getting close to the all-time record, if you're getting close, even close to equaling a feat of an all-time great fighter, you're in greatness territory. So obviously, you're one of the best fighters today. And whether or not you agree if he has equaled Bernard Hopkins' divisional record, he surpassed Marvin Hagler's. Marvin Hagler defended the title 12 times. The great Carlos Monzon defended the title 14 times. So he's already surpassed those fighters. Last time I checked, they're enshrined in the International Boxing Hall of Fame, and they are considered all-time great middleweights. So this is the territory that Gennady Golovkin is now in. So it gives me great pleasure to shut up and to award this belt to Gennady Golovkin. Maybe you can stand up and sport the hardware.
We'll come around, Doug.
Okay. All right. Here on this left plate here, it says pound for pound number 1 since September 2017. So we're going on 1 year. There you go. You're the man.
Thank you so much.
Doug, get in there.
Get in there.
So you can turn this way. This one over here. This way.
Down here, don't start that.
Yeah. Hold it across the table.
Yeah. I like that. That's great.
Everybody right here in the middle?
Right here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're good, dude.